I'm going to show you how you can easily dodge and defend against missiles in Star Wars Squadrons. You're not going to want to miss this because this is amazing. What's going on, guys? My name is Gray. I hope you guys are having a great day. Welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can easily defend against enemy missiles coming at you guys, but also give you the best class setup to run with it, explain why everything's on it, and also show you how OP the class is. But before we do that, we're going to watch a quick little clip showing you how OP it is, and literally nobody can lock onto me with missiles. Check this out. Okay, so right off the bat, we are already getting locked on by a missile, and you can see here, it's gone, just like that. What did I do? I don't know yet. You guys are going to have to find out later on in the video. But again, here, enemy is locking on. Gone. Enemy's locking again. Wait for it. Wait for it. Gone. Oh, okay. Almost gone. Almost gone. Gone. See that? It's super easy to do. Anybody can do it. And again, it's happening right now. The missiles are locking once again. And then where'd they go? Invisible. Missile locking once again. It's just going to continue to happen because the enemies cannot lock onto you. You are too nimble. You can get away. And if it finally comes to the point, you can counter the missile as well, just like that. And just like that, you guys can see that the missiles don't actually lock onto you. You can get away from your opponents very easily, and you know they can't lock onto you. You get away from them, and if they finally do end up locking onto your ship, then you can just evade them and counter them like you guys saw me do at the end of that clip. Now, before we get into the class setup, I also have to show you guys that this build is OP for killing opponents as well, because you just don't want to be on defense the whole time. You guys also want to attack your opponents, so check this out.
Got him. Fly safe, Vanguard 4.
Thanks.
Marking targets. Light them up. Got him. Fly safe, Vanguard 2. Absolutely ridiculous.
So now that you guys have seen how OP this is at attacking opponents as well, we're going to hop into the class setup right now. But first, if you guys could do me a huge favor and leave a like on this video if it helps you out at any point in time. And also, hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. That way you can keep up to date with more Star Wars best classes like this one you're watching right now. Hey guys, I'm over here now, just so you guys could see the screen. But anyway, this is the class setup. If you just want to go ahead and screenshot it and leave, that's fine. All I ask is that you guys do leave a like on the video. But if you want the explanations, I'm going to get into them right now. That way you guys know everything about this, so you're able to use it to your full potential and take advantage of this, because nobody's going to be able to lock onto you and you'll be able to kill all of your opponents. So before we get into why this thing absolutely dodges every single missile, I'm going to go over quickly the primary weapon and the auxiliaries just so you know what's on the class. First off, I'm using the standard laser. I don't see anything wrong with it. It does perfectly fine, so just keep that on, you're good to go. So the first auxiliary that I'm using is the EP ion missile, and this thing is awesome. Even though it doesn't do a ton of damage, it disables your opponents. So, you know, as you guys saw in the clips, I disabled multiple people and it rendered them useless against me, and I was able to kill them very quickly. This thing's also amazing because you do get 6 of them in the ammo capacity, so you can actually hold a bunch, be able to use them multiple times while you're fighting, and be able to take out your opponents. The second auxiliary is the Mg5 Concussion Missile, and this thing's really good because it doesn't take that long to home onto. You get 6 of them as well, and it does a pretty decent damage against your opponent. I really honestly only use this thing just to annoy them while I beam them with the lasers, as well as the ion missile. Moving on to countermeasures, as you guys saw me in the beginning at the intro clip, I ended up countering the only missile that actually ended up locking onto me, and I used seeker warheads for that. These things are OP, and you get 4 of them, so you can get away from 4 missiles that actually locked onto you. And the cooldown is only 12 seconds, so it doesn't matter that much that you use them because you're going to get that next one pretty quickly. Moving on to the hull, and now we are really getting into why missiles do not lock onto your X-Wing, and you're able to just absolutely dodge every single missile. So the hull that I'm using is the Fibertech Dampener hull, and as you guys can see, it slows hostile locks by 100%. Yes, you lose a little bit of health, but that's fine. 10% health for your opponent taking 100% more time to lock onto you is huge. Those missiles are not going to be hitting you, and they're not going to be locking onto you at all, especially because now it takes 100% more time to have that missile lock onto you. But wait, there's more. Now, if you thought that one was crazy, check out the shields, alright? I'm using the Scrambler shield, and this gives the hostile lock-on time plus 200%, which means now you are rocking at plus 300% enemy missile lock-on time. It is going to take your opponents 5 ever to lock onto your ship, like you guys saw in the clips while I was doing this. Unfortunately, the drawback is your shield regen is also plus 200, but if those missiles aren't hitting you, you don't need your shield regen. And finally, we're moving on to the engine, and the engine that I'm using is the propulsion engine. This allows you to get 100% more acceleration, and your maneuverability goes down just by 10%. But that acceleration is huge, and I'll show you guys why. So in this clip, you guys are about to see an opponent lock onto me from behind, but I'm able to just get away from his locking distance because of the acceleration on the X-Wing. As you can see here, it almost locks, and then I'm gone. I'm out of the way, and now another one is locking on, and I'm able to just accelerate and skirt out of there. As you guys can see on the stats, my acceleration is plus 160, which puts it at a 320. My hull and maneuverability are down just a tiny bit, but that acceleration 100% makes up for it. You're able to get away from your opponents, get away from those missiles, and then also outmaneuver them. Because you have this acceleration high, you're able to get around them more quickly and then go back into fighting them. Now, before I get into the Empire side of the build and what components we have on that, I'm going to show you another clip really quickly just to reiterate what I mean by being able to outrun your opponent's missiles. So in this clip, I am just about to get a kill, and you can see my enemy is already locking onto me with their missiles. So I am switched onto full power for engines, and I'm escaping it throughout this entire time. This whole clip is the enemy trying to lock onto me, and then that's it. They're gone. I'm too far away from them because my acceleration is so high. I'm able to just escape them, and now I'm on to my next target, who's gonna go get wrecked. Okay, so I don't want to take up too much of you guys' time, so I'm gonna go through the Empire pretty quickly because it doesn't have as many things on the Interceptor, which I highly recommend you guys use. I think the Interceptor is the best starfighter for the Empire by far, especially in dogfights, so this is going to be the build. Again, the primary weapon, just leave it how it is. Me, on my left auxiliary, I like using the cluster missile, and then on my right, I like using the anti-starfighter missile. This is where we get into how this thing is also able to not get shot by missiles on the Empire side. So starting off with the countermeasures, we are using the sensor jammer, and the sensor jammer makes all locked on missiles lose target, and nobody can lock onto you for that duration. It doesn't last that long, it only lasts 4 seconds, but if you know that there's missiles coming behind you, you can pop this really quickly, maneuver behind a rock or some cover, behind some ships, whatever. Get behind something and then make your move onto them, especially with this other attachment I have for the engine. The propulsion engine is awesome. As you guys can see, again, it's all about that acceleration like we were using with the X-Wing, but this one's a little bit different. Your starfighter can reach max speed and stop quickly with this engine. It means you can outfly opponents that are trying to get behind you, and if they're not behind you, they can't get those missiles on you either. The final attachment on the Empire side is the hull dampener, and this makes it so that, again, enemies take longer to lock onto you by 100%. So now if you guys are on the Empire or the New Republic, you'll be able to get away from missiles extremely easily and really not die to them anymore. There's one more thing that you guys could do to make your classes super OP, and that is clicking the video you see on your screen right now to see how you can get super easy kills just like I do.